What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Funko 411. On today's episode, I've got a couple of mystery boxes. I guess I should say a few mystery boxes. I've got two that are from the Poppin duo. This was from like a charity, basically not an auction, but a charity mystery box run that they did that are all Stranger Things pop. So this was like a pretty awesome deal to me. $45 per box. 3 pops per box, and then there were some chances at some higher end hits and stuff like that. And then over here we've got another charity mystery box from Professor Josh. This one was a $75 box. And again, some really cool hits in there. So, not really caring too much, what we get in here, because it was really more about supporting the charity and doing that. So we'll open these up. We're not going to do like our whole box breakdown and ranking and all that stuff, because these are really more just for fun. And like, they're not necessarily in the business of mystery boxes like some other companies who do that on a regular basis. So we'll open these up. Maybe we'll start with one of the Pop and Duo ones, then we'll do Professor Josh's, and then we'll wrap it up with Pop and Duo. I don't know. Let's do it that way. So we'll start off with this box. All right, so here is our first box, and like I said, some cool hits. The fact that it's all Stranger Things was kind of right up my alley, because I love the show. I'm excited for that final season coming out soon, and you really can't go wrong with those pops. They hold good value, and I think they'll especially be desirable once that last season finally hits. So I do have 3 pops in here. So inside the protector, we've got a little sticker there. That's cool. Get my reflection there. All right, and then our first pop we have is Lucas. Lucas from Stranger Things, of course. There you go. This was one of the more recent ones, 2019. So cool pop. Not anything too special. Not one of the bigger rare hits, anything like that. Then we have Dustin, and this one was actually, so this set was a few years ago, and this was the most recent wave of Stranger Things pop. So there's Dustin, got his little phone or his walkie-talkie in his hands. And then our last one we have is Murray, which I thought this was a weird one, because they did Hopper and Joyce with the flamethrower, and that was like a Funko Shop exclusive. And then for Murray, they did it just as like a common release, which was a little interesting. I thought they would do this one as like an exclusive too. But all right, so there's our 3 from that first Stranger Things box. Obviously no hit or anything like that, but like we talked about, this is for charity. So even if we just, got $10 each on these, it's totally fine. But those are our first 3. Let's go. You know what? Why don't we actually, we'll do the other Stranger Things box next, and then we'll do Professor Josh, kind of going out of the order I originally said. But let's do our second Stranger Things box. All right, here's that second box. And I kind of figured maybe knock these both out at the same time, just because the Professor Josh box was a little bit more expensive. So that one was like $80 with shipping and stuff like that. So, there's at least a chance at some of a bigger hit or something. But let's see what we have here. Again, we've got our protector with a sticker in there, Duo with the hearts on there. Put that over there. And our first pop up, we have Erica. Erica from this same wave. They did a NFT release of Erica that's a really cool mold that was selling for super cheap. I grabbed a bunch of them because they were just it was a really cool pop. And, I think once that new season comes out, I think a lot of people are going to be going after a lot of these. But here is Erica. So we've got 2 more in here. Our next one we've got Dustin. This is the Target exclusive Blacklight version. And actually, it's a similar mold, but it's not exactly the same, because he's holding what is that, like a hammer or something, versus this one he's holding the walkie-talkie. To be honest, I don't remember what that was from the actual show. You guys let me know in the comments if you remember what that is from in the show, but pretty cool. They kind of do Blacklight with everything. But there's Dustin. And then our last one, actually, this one I think is a pretty good hit, if I remember correctly. Mr. Clark from 2017 Summer Convention. Maybe not. Maybe it's, just a kind of an average one, but still at least something much older. you know, maybe I'll check values on one or two of these. Maybe I'll check this one in particular just because I'm curious. But the rest of these, you know, they're pretty much just common pops. But I'll check Mr. Clark at the end to see what the value was on him. All right, not bad. Like I said, happy to support the charity, especially. That's really what it's all about. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look at Professor Josh's box. All right, here we go on the Professor Josh box. Like I said, like 80 bucks after shipping, maybe 85, I can't remember, something like that. But we got Professor Josh and Shannon's little card there. You can go ahead, I'll pause that there so you can scan it if you want to, but thanks for purchasing their little business card. What do we have? Looks like they threw in some extra little goodies here. We've got, what is this? This is a shirt from what? This is like complete bonus because this was not part of, so Ant-Man and the Wasp. So this was from like one of the Marvel Collector Core boxes. But pretty cool. Nice of them to throw something extra in there aside from the pops. All right, let's take a look here. All right, I see some good stuff here. All right, we'll start off with this one. We've got Star Wars. This is an older pop, Sidon Itano. You know what? I don't even know. I'm not like, I've said this before on the channel. I'm not a super big Star Wars fan. I'm a big fan of the original trilogy. I love Rogue One, but aside from that, I really have not watched, and I haven't caught up like on all the new shows. I have watched like the new trilogy, which I wasn't like super, you know, excited about or anything. And of course, I watched the prequel trilogy when that came out, but I haven't watched any of the new shows. I haven't watched Mandalorian or anything like that, so I need to catch up on my Star Wars. But there's that one. I think that's probably something relatively common. We've got another one that looks like very similar. This is Guavian. Jeez, I'm sorry. All you Star Wars people, I'm really sorry for butchering that. That's weird. We got a Pop Life sticker on the back. Usually they put those on the bottom, but Pop Life sticker, that's interesting. So there's that guy. And then we have, this one's actually cool. I actually opened this in like a Funko haul video at some point a few months ago because they were doing like a big, you know, sale on their website. And I grabbed this and mine was damaged from Funko. So this is actually kind of a nice coincidence that I got this because I could swap this one with the one that I got that was beat up. So that's nice. Not, you know, it's a common, it's something pretty new, but at least I'll get some use out of it and I'll get to swap out the one that I had. And then this last one I'm looking at is actually like a very nice hit. And I can tell you right now, we for sure got way over our box value on this one. And this may be one of the bigger hits in the box. I'm not sure. 125 bucks is what it says on the top there, but this is Freddy Funko as Rick. This is from 2019 Box of Fun. Really cool pop. Really, I mean, that's a nice hit because if that price is even like remotely accurate, then we did really solid on our, you know, $80 investment on this little box. But that let's check a couple of the values. I'll check Mr. Clark and I'll check Freddy as Rick, and then the rest of them, maybe I'll check these Star Wars ones. I don't know. I'll check those real quick. I'll let you know some of the prices, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, so I checked a couple of the values. I didn't really bother looking at some of the common Stranger Things ones because I'm kind of just going to estimate that those are all basically retail. But I was curious on the Mr. Clark. That one ended up being $31, so 31 bucks for Mr. Clark. And then this one, the Freddy Funko as Rick, was still at 125 bucks. So overall, we did really well. But like I said at the beginning, it really wasn't about that. It was about kind of just supporting the charities. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see another unboxing, go ahead and check this one out right here. And I will see you on the next one.